Today we're going to talk about key performance indicators, or KPIs. You need to have KPIs and goals in everything that you do in mobile marketing and in life for that matter. So follow along with the information I'm about to give you and you'll learn more about how to include KPIs in your mobile marketing projects. Now, without KPIs, there's really no way to know if your campaign worked or not. And you need to know how to set those KPIs and use them the right way. And I want you to always make sure that you refer to this list to make sure that you're setting up the KPIs correctly. Now, let me go through these 12 points quickly, and then we'll get into a couple of real-life examples of how to create KPIs. First of all, I won't mention it every week, but KPIs are required for all of your exercises and projects in this class. KPIs need to be set in advance. You can't set them after the campaign's over, so you can go to the boss and say how wonderful you did. And keep in mind that KPIs must be based on past experiences. So for instance, if you know that click-throughs aren't a great indicator of sales, well then that's not a very good KPI to be measured. So if you don't have this experience, specifically with your product, you need to estimate what it would be from other campaigns you might have read about, or just use your best judgment to choose the KPIs that are going to best represent success in a program. Now, one thing that we recommend that you always do with KPIs is different people within your organization look at them differently. An engineer, for example, might look at a KPI as the uptime and things like that, but the sales manager is going to look at them solely from did it sell more products. And of course, management at the end of the day is going to want to know that your salary and the budget that they invested in the mobile marketing program had a return of at least break even and then some. Now, KPIs need to be easy to understand. Okay, so if you go to the boss and say that your click-through rate was 1.7% on your mobile advertising campaign, my guess is he's not going to know too much about whether that's good or not. So it has to be easy to understand, not too complex, and something that everybody, no matter which department they're in, has an understanding that this is an important KPI to measure. Now, they also have to be easy to evaluate. If you're spending hours and hours in evaluating your KPIs, it's not easy, and it probably wasn't a good choice of a KPI. You have to be able to evaluate them. So for instance, if you say you want to increase foot traffic by 10%, my question to you is, how do you know what your baseline foot traffic is right now? Do you have some sensor on the door? In that case, yeah, you could probably evaluate whether you were up by 10% in traffic. But most businesses don't have that are in the brick and mortar retail business. So make sure that you can evaluate what you're trying to evaluate. Now, every KPI has to be statistically measured. And what I mean by that is you can't say you want to improve brand awareness. How do you measure that? Yeah, you could probably take a survey before and after and ask people if they've heard of your brand, but that's probably a big chore and something that a small business isn't going to be able to do. You have to establish a baseline. So if you tell me that you want to increase your Facebook likes by 15%, you better know what your Facebook likes are right now. How many people like your business page? How many sales did you make last year if you want to increase sales by 15% this year? So always tell us what your baseline is and then what you're hoping to increase that by with the new campaign. Now, you can't set your KPIs for say a 3-month advertising campaign and then look at them after 90 days and see if you hit them or not, because you're going to have points along the way when you can kind of judge, is this working for me or not? Okay, you're not going to have all the information yet for the 3-month campaign, but maybe every 2 weeks or every month you need to look at the statistics and see how you're doing. And if you're not meeting those interim goals, and those interim goals need to be very varied, so you need to have a couple of different KPIs that you're looking at with each of the interim goals. And if you don't know if those have been hit or not, and you're not hitting them, you need to change direction. Maybe that means changing the copy or changing the image in the ad, or it means texting more or texting less. Whatever it is, you need to have a way to divert from the original plan so that you can meet those ultimate goals. Now, every KPI that you use has to have a goal associated with it. Okay? So, what I mean by that is you don't want to say that you want to judge the amount of click throughs. You want to judge the amount of click throughs and show an increase of 15% over what you did last year. Okay, that would be a KPI and a goal that's along with it. And then finally, you need to determine what is the overall success. So what I mean by that is, let's say that you missed your sales goal by 2%. Does that mean that it was a big failure? Well, if you hit all the other KPIs that you had, maybe it is good, or maybe you're going to give yourself partial credit for that campaign. So these are the things that I want you to refer back to, these 12 points, when you give us the KPIs, and I want you to see, can I answer all of these 12 elements? And if so, you've set up proper KPIs. Now let me talk to you about some bad goals. At the beginning of every year, people usually embark on a better physical fitness program or a better diet, or they want to get more sleep or whatever it is. So they say things like, I want to lose weight. I want to get in better shape. I want to work out more. Okay. You need to have something that's viable statistically so you know if you hit those goals or not. Okay. If you do that, then maybe your new exercise campaign is going to work out for you. If not, if it's just general, well, it's up for debate whether you accomplish them or not. So let's take the goal that many people have at the beginning of the year. I want to lose some weight. Okay, so you need to establish the baseline. So let's walk through a setting up of KPIs and goals for a weight loss program. So establish your baseline weight. So let's say that on February 1, you're going to take your weight, you're going to take it in the morning, you're going to use the digital scale in your bathroom, and clothing's optional. So that's when you're going to get your official weight that becomes your baseline that you're trying to improve on throughout the campaign to lose more weight. You need to get management approval. So go to your boss in the case of a mobile marketing program, or in this case, we're going to go to our personal trainer and make sure that it's okay because he or she is the expert, and is it okay to set the goals that I have set here? Will it be okay for my health? Is it something that's reasonable and realistic that I could obtain? And once you get that approval, you want to set a goal. So the ultimate goal here is on April 30th, you want to lose 15 pounds. You want to weigh 15 pounds less than you did on the morning of February 1st. Seems like a reasonable goal. You're going to set KPIs, so you'll have interim goals along the way. So you don't want to get to April 29th and you've only lost 2 pounds. You're not going to hit that 15-pound weight loss overnight. So by checking your weight as you go through the 3-month period, you're going to be able to keep on track and get to that ultimate goal on April 30th. So if your interim goals are to lose 5 pounds each month, you're going to weigh yourself on the last day of the month, always in the morning and always on that same scale. You're going to have other KPIs. You're going to work out 4 times a month with your personal trainer. You're going to also work out on your own. You're going to do 300 minutes per month on the treadmill. You have an average speed of 5.5 miles. And if you're going to travel for business, you have an illness or injury, and you can't attain the 300 minutes per month, you're going to make them up the next month so that you end up with 900 total treadmill minutes over the 90-day program. So those are interim goals that you can judge along the way and see if you're going to meet this ultimate goal at the end of the 15-pound weight goal. And then finally, your success. Okay, it would seem to me that if you lost 14.5 pounds, that's pretty good. You did a good job, and that's something should be rewarding. So let's say your ultimate goal is if you come within 5 pounds of the 15-pound weight loss, you're not going to say you were 100% successful, but at least you were 90% successful. Okay, so now let's look at mobile marketing and how you can put KPIs and goals and examples of bad ones when it comes to mobile marketing. Well, we already talked about increased brand awareness. How are you going to judge that? Okay, probably going to take a pretty complex study to be able to determine if you did indeed increase brand awareness. A big company could afford to do that, but probably a small mom and pop can't. Okay, you want to get more followers on Facebook. Is that a good KPI and goal? No, not as it stands, because that means if you got just one more follower, you've attained that goal. You want to get more followers. Well, 1 or maybe 2 followers more. My guess is that's not going to be a very successful program, and that's why that's not a good KPI. You want to increase sales. Okay, by how much? By when? If you want 90% of your promotional text messages to be read, that would be a bad KPI and goal. Why? Because once a text message is delivered, you don't have any way to know on the other end if the person actually read it. There's no way to know that. So that's not a KPI that you can prove. Okay, you want to get 25% of my customers on my text list to make a purchase from an SMS promotion. Well, first of all, 25% is highly unrealistic. Nobody gets 25% of their customers to make a purchase from a text promotion. And then my question to you is, how will you judge that? Are you going to ask every single person that comes in the store if they saw the text, and you're going to get their phone number and match it up to that phone number on your list? That's unrealistic. That's not a good KPI. You want to increase your foot traffic by 10%. How are you going to judge that? I guess a small business owner has a pretty good idea of the amount of people that are coming in the store because they watch it every day. But statistically, can you really measure that? Probably not. You want to get 100 new customers next month at your retail store. Well, can you remember every single customer that walks in the door? How are you going to know it's 100 new customers unless you're gathering their personal information and matching it up against previous purchases? I guess you could do it then, but it's kind of a difficult thing. And then one of the things that I hear all the time too, get on the first page of Google. So with what? Okay, with what keyword do we want to get on the first page of Google? And who's going to judge that? At what date and time do we have to be on the first page of Google? You know, these are all bad KPIs and goals because they're not specific enough or they can't be effectively evaluated. Okay, so let's look at a promotion of a local pizza restaurant and take a minute to read this information that's up. Maybe you want to put me on pause now and read what's going on with this special promotion. Okay, so let's look at this mainline pizza Super Bowl promotion. They did it last year. Last year they only did text messaging, and this year their plan is to do text messaging again, but also to do a Facebook and Instagram social media advertising campaign. So they're going to send 3 different text messages leading up to the Super Bowl, because Super Bowl Sunday is the biggest pizza day of the year. And they had such great success with it last year, as you read the details there, that they're going to add a Facebook and Instagram advertising campaign. They're going to target men and women aged 25 to 54 that live within 5 miles of the restaurant. And they have a secondary target of Villanova University students. The advertising flight is going to run over 2 weekends and 1 week, and they're going to have a 3 p.m. cutoff on Super Bowl Sunday. So that's the details of the promotion. Now let's establish some KPIs and goals for mainline pizza. So text message marketing, well, last year they didn't do as well on the delivery rate as they had hoped, but this year they've cleaned up the list a bit, so they want to improve that delivery rate to 95% on their text message marketing. Okay, now keep in mind that your text message provider will tell you if the message was delivered to the phone. That they know, but of course they don't know if the message was actually opened and read on the other end. That's something that you just couldn't possibly know. You don't know what's going on the device of the consumer. Okay, they want to keep the monthly opt-out rate to under 1% during the period of the promotion. So that seems like something they can accomplish. These are good promotions. This is a good value for the consumer, and they're not inundating them with too many text messages where the consumer texts and replies would stop to be taken out of the database. They also want to track the tap to calls for the campaign. So they're going to have an embedded phone number there in the text, so the consumer can simply touch that if they have a smartphone and dial in and place their order. Now keep in mind, this isn't all the orders that are going to come from the text. The vast majority of people are going to think to call tomorrow after receiving the text. They're not going to act on it right away when they read the text. But hey, it's a nice thing to judge, and if they get a few of these tap to calls to come right in from the text and buy, that's really going to be a great buying signal that their advertising worked. Now, they have less things that they're tracking in text message marketing than they are in their social media ad campaign, because the social media ad campaign is new. They've never done it before. So what they want to do on the social media ad campaign is keep their cost per thousand to $10 or less. In other words, they're going to spend $10 or less to reach 1,000 people in that demographic group in their geolocation that they want to reach. So therefore, with a $700 budget, they hope to hit at least 70,000 gross impressions of potential consumers in their immediate trading area. Now, they want to reach half of those people by February 1st, the Thursday before the Super Bowl. And they want to have a click rate of 1.5% for the total campaign. And they're going to evaluate that on Thursday before the Super Bowl, before they open at 9 a.m., and see, are they doing that click rate of 1.5%? And if not, that's the time to call the agency or to look themselves at what they're doing on Facebook and Instagram and perhaps take a different direction. Maybe it's a different image. Maybe it's a different offer. Whatever it is, if they're not maintaining that click rate that is their goal, this gives them time to pivot along the way, and a KPI that's an interim KPI will allow them to make that change, go down a different road, and offer something a little bit different or have a different message so that they can reach their goals. They also want to increase the amount of Facebook followers and the amount of Instagram followers that are permanently on their business account. And this is one of the great advantages that you get with a mobile social media campaign is new people will see your restaurant and they'll follow you, they'll like you, and that's one of the benefits that you'll have long after the campaign is over. So what we get at the end here is we get an evaluation here. Last year they sold 36 of the Super Bowl party packs. Okay, this year the goal with the increased advertising and the fact that they've done it before, they know what works and what doesn't work, their goal is to sell 80 of these Super Bowl party packs. Now, along the way, they're going to check their reservations for the party packs. So they hope by the first Sunday, the week before the Super Bowl, they've sold 10, because they know everybody's going to wait till the last minute to order anyway. And they hope by Thursday before the Super Bowl, when they do their analysis, that they'll have sold 20. And they hope that those remaining 75% are going to come in to hit their 80 target between Friday and Sunday, when people really start to get their details down as to what they're going to do. Now, one of the things that we want you to include in all of your assignments that you do for us is budget and profitability, because keep in mind, that's what the boss is going to be looking for. So if, for instance, you sell 70, you fall a little bit short of your goal there of 80, and they cost $49.95. Now, we've already talked to the pizza place, and they say their costs are about $19.95, so they make around $30 profit after the cost of the pizza, the cheese, the sauce, the wings, the soda. So they're going to make $30. So their net profit is $2,100. Now they've spent $70.65 there on the text messaging at 5 cents per unit on the texting, and they've invested $700 in the social media. So their profit there is $1,329.35. So now the other thing that you want to look at as any business owner is the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you don't lose money. So a break even is really important. And keep in mind that if you break even, I would say that's a success. And why would I say that's a success? Because probably you've attracted to become long-term users of your restaurant. So if you can break even in your advertising, that's a big plus for the future because you're going to have a lot of repeat customers there. So you can see here they need only 26 sales to break even on their advertising costs here. I hope you got a lot of great information out of our segment about key performance indicators. Remember, if you're struggling with KPIs, contact your instructor for more information. We're always there to help.